Chapter 105. I know you're capable, I know you can, but please, I'm begging you, whatever you do, don't take my man. Kevin whistled as he went to open the door. He fell silent when he saw the anguish in Jenny's face. But honey, darling, what's wrong? I want to talk to Agneta. She's grocery shopping. Come in, tell me, what happened? He dragged her into the apartment. She took off her leather jacket while sobbing uncontrollably. Don't you dare say you think it's a good thing. What? What's a good thing? I broke up with Diego. I broke up with my hero. He put his arms around her and rocked her back and forth. They went into the living room. He sat down with his back toward the armrest and his legs outstretched on the sofa, so that she could sit on his lap, with her side leaning against his chest. He stroked her hair slowly as she cried inconsolably. I understand now, she snivelled. I understand that it was hard for you too when you broke up with me. I didn't think so then, but oh my God, how it hurts. Now I'm not only sad that it's over, now I'm sorry I made him so sad too. He nodded and mumbled in her hair. It was the worst thing I've ever had to do. He held her. He held his wonderful Jenny, the girl who had just started to feel better, and he stroked her over and over again, trying to at least be with her in the pain, even if he could not take it away. You threw me a life buoy, Keon. I can't find one for Diego. I don't know how to help him without drowning. He's really good at swimming in the middle of the current. I think he likes it. Yeah, but he's already been through so much, and he really, really loves me. Of course he does. I know it's hard not to. He kissed her on the head, on the blonde part of her hair. The door opened and Agneta stepped in with 2 plastic bags filled with groceries. When she saw the couple on the couch, she gasped. Kevan looked at her and said softly, almost whispering, Hello, darling. Jenny has just broken up with Diego. She came to us for comfort. Let's make lunch for her as well, all right? Her mouth suddenly turned dry. She walked straight to the kitchen with the plastic bags bouncing against her calves. Kevan and Jenny stayed on the couch. Jenny had stopped crying, but sat listlessly in his lap with her head against his chest. She was startled when his mobile phone rang and she moved so he could get it out of his pocket. He spoke in Persian, so she understood it was a family member calling. He looked concerned when the conversation was over. I'm sorry, I have to go. Dad's car broke down and needs help. He needs help to tow it. Agneta's head popped out from the kitchen. Is it a new car? Kevan nodded. Yeah, and he needs to get to the hospital right away. He's operating today. Are you going to tow him with our old car? He shrugged. It was the best we could think of right now. He got up from the couch. Jenny stayed there, limp as a rag doll. He went to Agneta and whispered, Keep an eye on her. She shouldn't be alone now. I'll be back as soon as I can. He gave her a quick kiss on the forehead, picked up the car keys from the desk next to the door and left. Jenny looked at him but didn't really see him. She was stuck in her own thoughts, in her hurting, guilt-ridden head. Agneta went back into the kitchen. I just have to put in the food, she shouted apologetically. Jenny didn't know how long she had been staring into nothingness when she noticed that it was all quiet. When she walked into the kitchen, Agneta was standing there, looking absently in front of her, the groceries still in the bags on the floor. What's wrong? Agneta shrugged and looked away. What's up with you? Jenny couldn't help getting annoyed. She was the one who had just had a horrible experience, yet here Agneta was, looking as if life was hard for her. I just got a shock, when I saw you, sitting there on the couch and holding each other that way. Jenny frowned. How short is your memory? Don't you remember what happened 2 years ago when I came into your house and you and Kevan were sitting on the sofa after he had broken up with me? Do you remember that? And you both said it was just 2 friends comforting each other. And that was true. It wasn't until later that. And that's exactly what just happened here. I actually came here to talk to you, but you weren't home, and he was, so I talked to him. Yeah, I know. Jenny's irritation pushed away the pain. He felt better being angry, so she raised her voice. What are you worried about anyway? You're the one living with Kevan. You're engaged and getting married next year. How can you possibly complain? The angry tone triggered Agneta. I have a lot to worry about. Don't you think I know he broke up with you because he thought it was best for you? He has never stopped loving you. I know he's engaged to me. I know he's going to marry me. He'll do that because he has promised and because he loves me. I know he does. But I'm so scared, so desperately scared that I have him, but that you will always have his heart. Jenny stared at Agneta. Then maybe you shouldn't have gotten together with your best friend's ex-boyfriend in the first bloody place. Agneta gasped. That's not fair. I've loved him longer than you. The door opened and Keivan came in, explaining that a neighbor had happened to drive by and had helped his father. He took off his outerwear and entered the kitchen. Shall we fix some lunch then? He asked, smiling. With glowing cheeks, Jenny rushed out into the hall. I won't disturb you anymore. I'm going to eat at home. Before anyone could say anything more, she had already closed the door behind her. Keivan turned to Agneta. What on earth happened while I was gone? When Jenny arrived at Malka's place, Alfred was there. They met in the hallway and Jenny was just about to apologize and leave. She seemed to be in everyone's way when Malka came rushing and asked Jenny with a look full of worry, Was that him? Was it your boyfriend who drove himself to death? Only now did Jenny realize that Malka had concluded that it was Diego who had died in the game. No, it wasn't Diego. He would never do that, he says. But she glanced at Alfred. I was just about to leave. He has hastened to say, Come on in. You seem to have a lot to talk about. Jenny lifted her face to Malka in a quick questioning nod. He really was on his way. Come on in. When Malka and Alfred had kissed each other goodbye and exchanged a few phrases in Hebrew, Alfred left and Jenny hung her leather jacket in the hall. If it wasn't him, then why do you look so desperate? When Jenny looked at Malka, the tears welled up again. I broke up with him. The tears rolled down her cheeks. Malka patted her on the back. Come on, let's go into the kitchen. You need a cup of tea. I don't need tea, I need alcohol, lots of it. But, Malka glanced at her helmet. I won't drive, of course. You only ride a motorcycle if you're completely okay. She stopped when she realized she was quoting Diego verbatim. She showed her backpack. I've just been home and picked up everything I need. I was hoping I could sleep here tonight. My apartment is filled with memories of Diego. The couch is yours tonight. The strongest thing I have to drink is wine, you know that, but you're welcome to drink as much as you want. A little later, they were both sitting in the TV room. Jenny with a glass of wine in her hand, Malka with a cup of tea. I feel guilty. He has stood up for me so many times, and now I left him. Not because he's been mean to me, just because I realize our lives are so different. At least now that I feel fine again. Before our lives felt similar, but now I wish I could make him happy. Make him want to live a different way, but he simply doesn't want to, and I can't change that. But he feels better with me than without me. That's why I feel so selfish to leave him. But you know what? I think I'm a selfish person. I'm a selfish person who just thinks of herself. I'm not as good as Keivan, who does things for the good of others. What I did wasn't best for Diego, it wasn't. But I saw no other way out. Staying with Diego wouldn't be good for me. Jenny emptied her glass and poured in some more wine. And then I went to Agneta. I wanted to talk to her. She looked apologetically at Malka. She has been my friend the longest. We've known each other since kindergarten. Malka waved her hand dismissively. Anyway, Agneta wasn't home, but Keivan was. So I talked to him. Or rather, I cried on his shoulder, sitting in his lap. When Agneta saw that, she went nuts. She thinks he still loves me and that he's only marrying her because he has promised to, but that he really loves me. Is she right? Jenny stopped and looked at Malka with surprise, as if she had forgotten she was there. If Keivan was not with Agneta, would you like to be with him again? Jenny made an annoyed face. He is with Agneta. I don't see the point of discussing a hypothetical. There is a point. I'm Jewish. Remember, we can discuss hypothetical issues forever and learn from each discussion. Would you like to be with Keivan again, if you could? Jenny drank some more wine. She let the question twirl around in her mind, visiting every corner of it and visiting her heart too. No, I don't think so. We had our time. If he had been free, I might have been with him again for a while, just because it feels so safe and nice. Again, I would do it for me, not for him. I'm really not a good person, even if Diego said so, but I really am not. Or at least, maybe he doesn't think so anymore. But no, Keivan and I had our time. It was wonderful. Wonderful and terrible. The last part of our time was terrible. No, I wouldn't want to be with him again. Not really. She drank the last oil wine glass and filled it for the third time. The bottle was nearly finished. Since I have already told you about how terrible I am, let me tell you the worst of all. What I'm really ashamed of. Somehow, I've never really gotten over that Kevin and Agneta got together. It feels as if she won. I know, believe me, I know how ridiculous I am, how childish and selfish. Jenny straightened up and formulated the thoughts that had become clearer while the words had flowed out of her. No, I don't want to be with Kevin again, but I like the feeling that I could get him back if I wanted to show her. I told you I'm not a good person, not at all. Malka put her hand on Jenny's thigh. It's not what you feel that determines whether you're good or evil. All emotions are allowed. What determines whether you're good or evil is what you do. Or refrain from doing in this case. Jenny sighed. No. Malka talked slowly, thinking while letting the words formulate themselves. It's not enough that you do nothing. You need to finish it properly. Finish what properly? It's over between me and Keivan. He finished it more than 2 years ago. Exactly. He finished it, not you. That's the problem. Malka put down the teacup on the wooden table. You closed the door to Peter. Jenny shrugged. That was just a matter of time. Had I not done it when I did, Peter would have done it. A few weeks or maybe months later. In any case, you closed that door. Today you closed the door on Diego. Jenny shuddered. It was still so fresh. It felt unreal that she had ended that important part of her life. You haven't closed the door to Keva. That's what you need to do. For your sake, for his sake, and for Agneta's sake. Jenny sighed deeply and leaned back on the sofa. That's a lot of closed doors. Malka also leaned back. When God closes a door, he opens a window. She fell silent as she looked at her friend. Stop rolling your eyes every time I mention God,